Greetings friends, my name is Arthur and I'm going to show you how to set up and run Final Fantasy XIV version 1.23b on your own PC at home. As we still have some months to wait until the release of Shadowbringers, I think it's now the right time to explore some of the game's history by yourself. With this version of the game you will be able to revisit Eorzea before it got destroyed during the 7th Umbral Calamity. You might ask yourself how this all works. Okay, the thing we are going to do in this video is we are setting up our own server. And on this private server you will be able to log in and play the game. But before we start, I have some information to share with you. The things you will be able to do in the game are very limited. You can teleport around the world, you can watch the old cutscenes, you can watch the intro movie, you can ride your chocobo, you can interact with some of the NPCs, do some minor things. But many things like the battle system and interacting or buying things from most of the NPCs won't work at all. The whole setup is going to take quite a lot of time and might not work for everybody. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them down in the comments or per direct message. All the links for the required software and web pages are posted down in the comments. The first thing we will need is a hard copy or a software copy of the game. If you still have the CD lying around, just insert it to your PC and install the game to whichever folder you want. If you don't have it lying around, you can get it online. I've posted a link to Pirate Bay, but do this at your own risk. Torrenting is still illegal in most of countries. But to actually use an ISO file in Windows, we need the software. Okay, this software is called Daemon Tools Lite. You can use the free version with ads. Again, free version. Deselect the driver updater. Okay. You can already see it's now installed. Skip the tutorial. Close the web page. Okay. Here is my folder where I downloaded the ISO file. You can now mount that file into Daemon Tools Lite. Just press on Image, then you press on the drive down there, then you go in the place where you downloaded software or the ISO, which is in my case project. This is the ISO. Okay, now that the software is mounted, it is shown here in Windows as a normal CD drive. We can then start, select English, and install the game, the base game. Okay, press next again. So, this is the basic version of the game, so version 1.0. After you've installed it, don't start it, just continue with the next step. Okay, I will let this run a little while and continue with the next software that we actually need. Okay, we will also need to set up our own server, Microsoft Visual Studio. The link is also down below, so download it and let's start with the installation. Okay, let's continue. It's now downloading the base installer. Shouldn't take all too long before we can start. Almost done. While the base game is still installing. Okay. From Visual Studio, we will need to install some additional packages. So for this, you can select here the .NET desktop development. And we need, important is that you have selected the .NET framework 4.5. In addition to that, we will also need to install the Nugget Packet Manager. So select those both as well. After you selected those components, you can continue and install it. Visual Studio will now download this and set it up for you. I will be back when those two installations are finished. Okay, the installation has finished. We don't need a desktop shortcut for the game itself and can finish the installer. Okay. On the other hand, Visual Studio has finished installing and it asks you to sign in, and we can do that later. That doesn't matter how you want it to look, and just start the software. You can quit the installer in the background. Okay, and in the next step we're going to install the 7th Umbral launcher. Link is also down below. Select all that what's missing and install it. Okay, after we've installed the launcher, we're gonna directly start it. Okay, here we can select wherever we have installed the base game. It automatically detects the standard path, but if you've installed it on a second drive or so, you can press no and select the different path. I've installed it in this path, so I'm going to select yes. This is also a patcher. This will download all the patches up to 1.23b from the web page from 7th Umbral. Just press yes. And you can choose wherever you want to download it. I'm going to download it on my second drive. Okay. This step is going to take quite a while because it's downloading roughly 5 to 7 gigabytes of material and directly installing it into the game folder. Okay, but we can let this run in the background and continue with the installation of software we will need. Okay, the next thing I'm going to install is Wamp server. This should not take too long. Set it up English. Just press next, 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 and install it. Okay, after this finished installing, we are actually almost done and only need one more software. The last piece of software is called Heidi SQL. It will help us to fill up the server with the information that we downloaded. So I will hit you right back up when this installation is finished. So the installation finished and we are ready to go. Okay, so we're going to install the last piece of software, Heidi SQL. Accept, continue, continue. Just use the defaults here. And we don't need to launch it right away. Okay, so we got this software here ready to go. Alright, installation finished, and we can close the installer. And directly close the launcher as well. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is download the server data. I've already downloaded it and it's down in the links as well. So, I recommend you creating a new folder where you unpack it in. I'm gonna create a new folder on a desktop. I'm gonna call it server 1.0. Okay. And now I'm going to drag it in here and unpack the zip file. Extract all, extract. Okay. These are all the required data that we're now going to work with. Meanwhile, I'd recommend you to go to your directory where you installed the game. It's going to be C, programs, and then, okay, finished right now. Then you go to Square Enix, and this folder here is where the game was installed. I recommend you to create a shortcut on your desktop because you will need this folder also sometimes. Okay, we can now delete the zip file, and basically can take this file here, put it on the desktop. Okay. We have now downloaded all the required software. Alright, let's start with the setup then. First, we're going to open this here with a Microsoft Visual Studio. Open with. Okay, it's preparing right now. Okay. Here we can see the project is now opened in Visual Studio. What we're gonna do now is right click on the top here and then go down and go to restore Nugget packages. Just wait for it to process. Now, after finishing this, we can continue and start up our Wamp server. If you run into any issues with the program, you'll first need to install one additional software, and I've also linked it in my document here. Just follow the link down on MS C++ and install that little tool. Once that is done, your server should start normally. See a black window, and it will work then. Next thing is we have to change some settings. Therefore, we do a left click on Wamp server, go up to MySQL, then on the left side we go to my.ini. Okay. Now we scroll down a little bit and we find this line of text here, SQL mode. Now we want to change the content of that string here. We open up the document here again, and I have linked it down here. And the thing we now need to copy is the content of SQL mode here. We're gonna copy that and paste it right in here. Okay, after that we save that file and then restart the Wamp server. You can simply do this by right click and refresh. After the Wamp server has restarted, we can go and start HideSQL. Okay, here the first thing we do is press on New and Open 2 times, and now we have a fresh and new database. With HideSQL we open now the database from Wamp server, and now we need to put all the information from the FFXIV servers into our Wamp server. Okay, for this we go on unnamed and right click, then create new database, and we call this FFXIV. FFXIV, and let's call it server. Alright. Now we select this server by double clicking and make sure you are in here. You need to double click here to be safely here. Okay. Once you clicked on there, we can go on File, Run SQL, and now we navigate to the folder where our project file lies. This is in my case the desktop. Right in here, and there is a folder called SQL. We open that one, then Control and A to select every SQL file in that list. Then we press Open. This process can take up to 15 or 20 minutes. The program finished and we can close Hide SQL again. Okay, the next step will be we have to create our login server. We open up again the database here, and there is a folder called www. We open it up, and then we go into login _su, and we're gonna copy all the contents, then navigate to the folder where our Wamp server is installed. There you notice there's also a folder that's called the same. You open it up and you copy all the files in there. Okay, you're gonna replace all the files that were double, and we're done. Now we just need to restart the server again. Refresh. Okay. Server has now restarted and the login server is ready. And to test this server, you can open up the video description and copy this link down here. http://localhost and create user. Then you can go to a web browser and paste it in, and we can see it is running on our machine. And here we can create a user. Since we are here, I am right going to do that. Arthur. I'm gonna set a simple password, 123. And here you can type in whatever email you want. It just has to have an at in it. Okay, it is now created. Okay, now we open up the game folder, into client, script, down here to this file. Check for the name, it has to be exactly this file. And then we copy this file. Then we open up where our server is saved and go into data. And this is the place where we're gonna paste it. Okay, now after pasting it, we have to rename the file. Click rename, also the ending, and then again go to the description of the video, and you will find the correct name. It's static actors.in. We're gonna rename it. And yes. So it's important that you rename the copied file and not the original version, because the original version is in the game folder and therefore it should not be changed. Now we can open up Visual Studio again, and we're going to compile our project. For doing this, we go up here to create, to select the first thing. Then we have to wait a little bit. Okay, and we are done now with this. We can minimize it and then open up our folder again. In here we have the folders for the individual servers. For here we have the lobby server. And now, after that we have compiled it, we have here a folder bin debug. And in here is the actual exe file that we need to that we have created just now by debugging and compiling the server. We are going to use this later, but we first need to change some things before we can start our servers. We go all the way back Then we open up data. And now here we have 3 configuration files that we need to copy into the specific debug folders of each server. So we start with the lobby config. Gonna copy that, go back for the lobby server, bin debug, and paste, replace. We go back, data, then we go with the map server, with the map configuration. Map, bin, debug, paste. And then data and world, copy. World, bin, debug, paste. Okay, this is ready as well. Now we just need to copy the last file that is in the data folder also into the map server. So this is the file we created just before, the static actors. Gonna copy that and paste it in here. Bin, debug, paste. Okay, we are now ready to start all the individual servers. Okay, the first server we are going to start will be the lobby server. Go in here, bin, debug, and here we execute the exe file. The lobby server has started and is running. Then we go to the map server. We start this one as well. The map server is up and running. Then we continue with the last server, the world server. Okay, this one is also same folder. Okay, all the servers are now set up and running. We can now minimize all the servers and continue with the next step. We're now going to change a small configuration file in our 7th Umbrella launcher. We go where it was installed. It is here under Programs, 7th Umbrella launcher, and we're gonna open up servers.xml with editor. Okay, I've posted a small link down in the description with the second string that you can copy in here. This string will also allow you to select your own server that you just have set up from the launcher. Okay, we're gonna save that file, of course in the same place as before. Okay, if you run into an error here, you can just very easily save it on desktop. Okay, then close that file, and then here copy it in. Replace the file as administrator, and we are done. We can now start the game. This is very easy. We just go to 7th Umbrella launcher. Then we can select the drop-down menu and select localhost. Okay, we are now on the login screen. If you haven't created a user before, you can do this now. Again, this will be the same link. Create user. Here. Okay. Once you created your user, we can do one more thing. We can go into the games folder again and open up the configurator. In here we can configure it to run. Where is it? Okay. We open up the configuration for the video settings and so on. I'm gonna run it windowed in 720p, and here you can set up all the graphics. Gonna set it to high. Okay, and I'm gonna save that. Yes. Okay, after you have saved it, you need to restart the launcher. Again, go to your server. Okay, now there can be one small problem if you are running a processor with 16 or more threads. If you have a processor that has so many threads, you just open up Task Manager, go into here, then you can scroll down, look for Launcher, right click on it, and then you go to Details. This will change the tab over here to Details, and then right click again, and then Assign Affinity. And here you can just deselect one of the CPU cores. You just need to have selected less than 16, because with 16 the game will directly crash. Okay, I have a 6-core CPU with 12 threads, so this will be no problem at all. I can now type in my username that I created before. Now we are all done and can start the game. Gonna turn down the noise a bit. Has to be enough. Okay. Now click on Start and create our own first character. It's now connecting to all our servers. You can see here are some things happening as well. And we're gonna create a new character. Just gonna create a default Highlander, just to show you. You can also play around what you want, and it should be pretty much the same or even worse than in 14 right now. Okay, next. Because this is all fine for me. And I'm going to be a gladiator. The save slot also works. There is only one world available. And we'll go to select it. Okay. Next. And it is connecting to our own server. And I'm going to start hold on. And we're now logged into the game. If you really want to explore the world, I recommend you to start in Gridania, because you will do the normal opening cutscene, and after finishing the first few quests that actually work, you will be able to teleport. Here we got thrown directly into the world without anything, and with teleport and certain actions not working. So starting Gridania and you will be able to do anything. But for now, you're running 1.0 on your own private server. Adventurers, I wish you a lot of fun exploring this old and crazy world, and seeing all the things that they thrown over and they changed, and maybe also some things that they stick with that we have in the game until current day. So I hope everything is working, and everybody take care.